It was a Saturday morning, and Draco was heading out with his friends. However, as he waited in the Slytherin common room, he noticed that you weren't coming down for your usual Saturday morning run outside. Concerned, he looked around for you, but you seemed to be nowhere in sight. Draco sighed, looking around. "Where the hell is that idiot?" he mumbled to himself as he continued to wait. He felt a small pang of anxiety hit his stomach when he still didn't see you after about 15 minutes. A part of him wanted to check on you just to make sure you were okay, but the other part of him was telling him not to, and that you'd be fine. He thought for a moment, then suddenly stood up. "I'll meet you guys outside. Don't wait for me. I just, have to do something real quick," he said, his nerves starting to kick in now. He turned and left and immediately made his way up the stairs towards your dorm. He stood outside your dorm for a while, contemplating if he should go in and check on you or not. Eventually, the worry he had for you got the best of him, and he ended up slowly pushing the door open. He looked around, then slowly entered the room. His heart was pounding, and he thought he was going to pass out from the anxiety he felt. He took a few deep breaths before finally looking at your bed. Draco sighed and quietly approached your bed. Once he was by your side, he gently placed the back of his hand against your forehead without a word. He didn't even make eye contact with you. Draco sighed once again and looked back at you, finally making eye contact. "Don't talk. You need to rest, you idiot," he said while slowly pulling his hand away from your forehead. "Why are you even awake? You should be sleeping," he said while taking a couple steps back from the bed. "You're supposed to be getting rest and drinking water. Have you drank any water at all?" Draco sighed. "You haven't, have you?" he muttered as he crossed his arms. "I knew you were stupid, but I thought you'd at least have the common sense to drink water and get some rest while you're sick." Draco quickly grabbed you and held you from getting up. "You're an idiot. Don't get up, I'll get it for you," he said as he started rushing towards your water bottle and grabbing it. He walked back over to you and put the water into your hand. "Here, drink it all," he said sternly. "You're probably dehydrated now on top of being sick. And no, I will not feel bad for calling you an idiot even though you're sick, because you shouldn't have let it get so bad," he added as he watched to make sure you were actually drinking the water. After a few moments, he spoke up again. "Now get some sleep. You're probably exhausted." He sighed and gently laid you back down. "I don't know how you managed to get into this school when you're this dumb," he muttered, rolling his eyes. "Now go to sleep. I'll wake you up later for some soup. You need to eat, you know," he said as he moved some of the hair out of your face. Draco blinked in surprise and stopped messing with your hair. "Stay with you? Why?" he asked. Confusion spread across his face. "Why would you want me to stay in here while you're in this state? You're sick and probably contagious." Draco sighs and sits down in a chair next to your bed. "Fine, I'll stay in here if it's what makes you happy." "Stupid," he mumbled, obviously trying his best to pretend like he doesn't have feelings for you. Draco slowly moved his hand towards your hair and gently stroked it. "You're a really weird idiot," he said with a small chuckle. "Why would you want the person who teases you all the time to be your nurse? I mean, I literally call you an idiot almost every time I talk to you." Draco rolled his eyes. "I wouldn't have stayed if you didn't practically beg me to. You're too much of an idiot to be left alone," he said with a sigh as he continued stroking your hair, his fingers occasionally brushing past your ear. Draco decided to ask you, "How did you even get sick? It's literally January and the middle of winter. Everyone's inside and warm, so there's not a whole lot of contagious stuff around," he asked, raising an eyebrow. "So I ask again, how did you even get sick? Let alone sick enough that you got the flu?" Draco shook his head. "You idiot. I've been telling you for weeks to wear more than just a hoodie and a long-sleeve shirt, but you never listened, he said, sighing once again. And this is what happens when you don't listen to me. You get sick. He smiled back and gave you a small eye roll before moving his other hand up to your hair as well, and began to gently massage your head. You're not so bad when you're quiet like this. I kinda like it, he mumbled jokingly. Draco gently pushed you back down to the bed. Stop it, you're probably too weak to even get up, he said while shaking his head. He then pulled the blanket up a little more so it covered you better. There. Now stop trying to do it yourself, he mumbled. He rolled his eyes again. Yeah, you can do it yourself, you idiot, sure, and pigs fly, he said sarcastically, moving one of his hands to your hair again. He slowly petted your hair, trying to get you to calm down again. Draco stopped his movements for a second and looked at you, thinking of what to say. What? Enjoying this? No, of course I'm not. Why would you think that? He mumbled, trying to hide the fact that he is in fact enjoying this. Draco slowly started to realize what you were doing and scooted the chair forward so he was closer to you. What do you think you're doing, idiot? He said, trying to hide the small smile forming on his face. Fine, maybe I am enjoying this a little, he mumbled, the small smile becoming more noticeable now. Only because you're quiet and not being so annoying though, he added before gently stroking your head. Be what? Annoying? Draco asked with a small laugh. Yeah, I know you can, you're the biggest idiot in this entire school, but for right now at least you aren't. So I'm going to enjoy this as much as I can before you go back to annoying me again, he mumbled as he continued to stroke your hair. Draco smiled again. He continued stroking your hair and would occasionally move his fingertips onto your forehead to check to see if your fever had gone down any. After checking a couple more times, he decided you were all right for now and left his hand on your forehead, his thumb lightly rubbing against your skin. Draco slowly stopped stroking your hair. That's a dumb question, he muttered, his cheeks becoming more flushed. Anyone would come to check up on you if they found you almost on the brink of death in your dorm, he added, avoiding your gaze. It was obvious that he was too prideful to admit it was because he liked you. Draco groaned. Why are you making me answer these questions? He complained, still avoiding your gaze. He sighed eventually in defeat. Fine, if you really need to know then. He trailed off for a second. I just wanted to come check on you because you didn't come down for your morning run. And I just felt the need to see if you were okay, he mumbled. He finally looked back at you and rolled his eyes when he saw you smiling. Don't look so proud of it. Just because I admit that I was worried about you doesn't mean I like you. I would have done this for any of my friends. You're not special, he said, still trying to pretend like he wasn't lying. Draco shook his head and continued stroking your hair. Stop smiling, idiot. My God, he muttered. You're acting like I've just confessed my undying love for you or something. Draco stopped stroking your hair. Just lay down and get some sleep already. You're already sick. I don't want you getting so sleep deprived on top of it and ending up even worse, he mumbled, still trying to avoid your gaze. I still need to get you something to eat too, he added as he shifted in his chair uncomfortably, getting ready to get up. Draco stopped moving once you grabbed his hand. His face went a small shade of pink as he looked at you. Aye, idiot. I'm just trying to get up to go get you something to eat, he mumbled, his cheeks flushed and his heart racing. Draco sat down in the chair again and let out a small sigh. Why do you insist on me staying here? It's not like I can do anything for you at this point anyway. You need some real sleep, he mumbled, still avoiding his gaze. And you should probably drink some more water too. Idiot, he added, finally looking up and meeting your eyes. Draco pushed you back down on the bed. I'll get your water bottle. Just sit down and relax. You idiot, you're too weak to even walk right now, he muttered as he grabbed your water bottle and handed it to you. Here, drink the rest of that, please, he mumbled, trying not to look at you. When Draco heard what you said, his whole body went stiff and he froze. What? Oh, really? He asked, trying to confirm you were for sure telling him to feed you your water. Are you sure? You know how to drink a bottle of water on your own, he stammered, his cheeks flushing a deep shade of red now. Draco sighed and slowly moved the bottle towards your mouth. You are completely helpless when you're like this. Why did I even come in here? He asked as he helped you drink some of the water. By now his face was so red he felt it was burning. Draco waited for you to swallow the water before putting the bottle down. There, you idiot, you've had some water now, he stammered before going silent. He was so embarrassed that he wasn't even sure what to say. Draco watched as you cuddled into your bed and sighed. Are you really comfortable? Do I need to adjust your pillow or anything? He asked, his own heart getting warm at the sight of you cuddling into your blanket. Draco noticed you cough and his expression changed to a more concerned one. Are you all right? Does your throat hurt or anything? He asked, now looking directly at you again. Draco sighed and stood up from the chair. I'm going to get you some soup. You need to eat something, so just stay here. I'll be back. Draco slowly made his way down to the kitchen, trying to avoid being seen by anyone on his way there. He grabbed a pot and began cooking you some chicken noodle soup, hoping you'd like it. An additional 30 minutes went by until the soup was finally finished, and he carefully carried it up to the common room, hoping you were still awake. Once he made it back to the common room, he gently opened the door to your dorm and peeked inside. Are you awake? He asked, trying not to drop the soup. He saw you stir a little and a small smile formed across his face. Here, I made you some chicken noodle soup. You should eat it while it's still warm, he mumbled as he set the bowl down on your bedside table. Draco smiled as he watched you sit up. Careful, slow down a little. You're still sick, he mumbled as he pulled the chair closer to you. Are you able to feed yourself or should I? He asked quietly, his cheeks still flushed. Draco gently put his hands over yours, pulling your hand away from the soup. No, you're still too weak to do this yourself. You almost fell out of bed earlier while trying to get into a comfortable position. I'll just feed you, he mumbled, his voice getting quieter. Draco sighed and began lifting the spoon up to your lips, carefully feeding you the soup. He was completely red in the face from this whole situation, but at the same time he refused to admit that he enjoyed taking care of you. How is it? Does it taste okay? Draco asked quietly as he continued to feed you the soup. He moved his free hand up to your head to lightly stroke your hair while he waited for an answer. Draco smiled at you. That's because I made it, he mumbled, his ego shining through in that one sentence. It's even better than that stuff the house elves make, he added with a small laugh. Draco nodded, his face becoming red at the fact that you seemed so impressed by it. Yes, I made it. It's not even that hard. All you have to do is follow a recipe, he mumbled, still feeding you the soup. After continuing feeding for a while, he finally finished. Draco's face went tomato red once he saw some soup on your lip. He moved his body in front of yours and gently wiped the soup away with his thumb. God, you're such a child, he mumbled, his cheeks still flushed. Draco slowly nodded as he tried to calm down from his current situation. You're welcome. At least you're not being so difficult now, he mumbled, trying to act more composed. After a few moments, he pulled the blanket back up over you, gently tucking you in. Just get some more rest, all right? He said, not wanting to leave you just yet. Now that you were all cozy again, Draco placed his hand back onto your forehead again, rubbing his thumb across your skin. Your fever doesn't seem so bad anymore, he mumbled, trying to break the silence. After a couple of more seconds of silence, Draco finally looked back down at you. You know, you're actually not that bad when you finally stop being so annoying, he murmured, his cheeks starting to get redder as he spoke. Draco stayed there, continuing to rub his thumb on your forehead. After a few more minutes went by, you slowly fell asleep, leaving Draco alone in your room. He looked at you as you slept peacefully before deciding he should probably start leaving. He leaned in and kissed your forehead tenderly and gently whispered, "Good night, idiot," he murmured, not realizing that it could be heard. Draco stood up from his chair and slowly started making his way towards the door to walk out. But before he left, he looked back at you one last time to admire you as you slept. Now, with the thought of you finally in his head, he shut the door quietly as he left the dorm.